All right then, so now let's create the animated rating star component by using SVG and by using HTML CSS, right? Pure HTML CSS alone, right? So we're going to build a custom rating star animation where the user can choose the ratings, and you can see we have this nice animation and glowing effects as well as, right? So this is what that we are going to build from the scratch. So for this, what we have to do is I'm gonna close all these things and I'm gonna duplicate this, and I'm going to say 5 UI, and inside this I'm gonna bring the index.html, delete everything from here, delete, and change this to animated SVG star rating element, something like this. Then inside the assets, I'm going to literally delete everything, save it. Okay, so let me get back over here and let me choose this UI. Perfect, perfect. What else is h2 tag color, which is going to white color? Perfect, right? And now let's understand the basic HTML structure that we have to do, right? So if you check it out over here, basically the star is the SVG and it is nothing but it's a radio button. So we need to make sure that the SVG, the SVG act as a input, just exactly what we did in the previously, the toggle switch, right? So for that, we need to create a radio group. So here dot radio, and inside here I'm going to create the input. Okay, which is going to be a radio itself, radio. Then I need to give the name, which is going to be rating. Then I need to give the ID, which is going to be rating hyphen 1. Then I need to supply the value, which is going to be 1, right? That's the pretty much what we have to do. We need to supply the value 1, then we need to supply the name, then we need to supply the type, then we need to supply the ID, rating 1, rating 2, rating 3, something like that. Then right after here, I need to create a label tag, which is going to be this. Copy this and paste it in the for tag. Then for this, I need to say title, which is going to be 1 stars, something like this. Then we just need to update 1 stars, 2 stars, 3 stars, something like that. So I'm just going to copy this. I need to bring 5. Yep. And now I need to update this. Wherever the term 1 it's been appeared, we need to change it into 2. Just select the 1 and press Ctrl D or Command D and then change it into 3. So that will select the duplicates of the number and we can change it instantly. So make sure the values are being changed properly. ID needs to be unique and the value also needs to be unique. Please make sure that everywhere it's changed properly. Then we need to bring this stars. So to bring the stars, I'm going to use the font awesome. Please go ahead and click search for font awesome and click the icon sections and search for stars. You can find this very first one. Click this and I'm going to copy this SVG, copy, and I'm going to paste it right after every right inside the label tag. Use the multi cursor editor, hold, click alt or option and then paste it inside, then save it. Oops, enter, paste it, save it. Okay, so now we have those ratings and everything. So save these changes, and now if you get back over here, this is how it looks so far. This is how it looks. So now let's go ahead and add the styles and everything. Okay, so let's get into the style sections, and I'm gonna say radio. I'm gonna bring it in a single row, so display as a flex. Now we have it as a flex. Then justify content in the center location, and the gap between it's going to be 10 pixels, and align the items also in the center location. Now you can see that. Then right after here, this layout, this will completely lay out the entire star structures in a single row. Then we need to target the input tag inside your radio. Input position needs to be an absolute position. Then appearance, I don't need that dot appearance, so none. Then what I need to do is I need to bring the labels. We need to display the stars. So radio, inside that we have that label, open it. Cursor needs to be pointer, and then the font size needs to be 30 pixels. Then the position needs to be relative position. Then display needs to be inline block. Then transition needs to be transform. 0.3 seconds is, so we are applying transition only for the transform, nothing else. Okay, then we need to target the SVG, which is inside radio, label, SVG. Inside here, fill, I need to fill the SVG, which is going to be hash 666. Then transition, fill, 0.3 seconds is. Okay, so I need to make sure why I can't see those labels. Okay, so let's check this out. Okay, so now let's go ahead and target the pseudo elements, right? So we written the styles. Okay, so now for the particle explosion. So before that, to make sure why it is not. Hmm. Okay, so I think everything is fine. So let's write these styles and let's check it out. All right, let's add the particle explosion effects here. Dot radio label colon before. Then I need to say dot radio label colon after. Inside here I need to say position, which needs to be an absolute position. Then content needs to be this. Then width needs to be 6 pixel. Height needs to be 6 pixel. Background color needs to be hash ff9e0b, something like that. Then border radius needs to be 50 percentage of that. Save it. That's how it looks. Then I need to say opacity, which is going to be 0. Then transition, which is going to be transform, 0.4 seconds ease in. Then I need to add the opacity, which is going to be 0.4 seconds ease, something like that. Then for that animation, I'm going to say particle explosion, 1 seconds ease out, something like that. Then dot radio label colon before, top minus 15 pixel, left 50 percentage, transform, translate minus 50 percentage, then scale 0 percentage. All right, then what we need to do, we need to target the dot radio label colon after, open it, bottom minus 15 pixels, then left 50 percentage, then transform, translate x minus 50 percentage, then scale, which is going to be 0. Currently you can't see anything, so these two dots will be appears. Wait a second. For the time being, let me change these two into 1. Okay, so currently you can't see those positions, but later you can understand why we are writing these things. So basically these two dots will appear top and bottom whenever you are hovering the buttons over here, just like this, for that particular options. Then basically, okay, so then what we have to do is we need to write the hover animations for those options. So for dot radio label colon hover colon before, let me copy this, greater than, paste it. This needs to be greater, needs to be for after. Open it. Opacity, it's going to be 1. Then transform, which is going to be translate x, which is going to be minus 50%, then 1.5, right? Then dot radio label colon over here, transform scale 1.2, then animation pulse 0.6 seconds, infinite, and alternate. Save it. And the reason we can't see any stars over here, we need to add the height, which is going to be one eminent point, so you should be able to see those heights over here, right? And yep, so it's working, but there is a small issue when I'm hovering it. Now I can able to see the stars, so I forgot to add this line, so that's the reason we can't see the stars so far. Now we can see that. Problem is somewhere we missed the, yep, here it is. Scale is 0 and scale is 0, and this is supposed to be here. See, now it's working perfectly. A small space which makes a huge difference, so please be very careful when you're working with it. So the changes which I made, I failed to add the height, and the changes I made, I forgot to add the 0 over here, and then I added an extra space over here. That's the issue. So please careful when you're typing it. Now when you're hovering it, we are having that options, the dots, two dots on top and bottom of each other. Then next we need to add that hover glow animation. Whenever you're hovering it, we need to have that glow animation. So let's say dot radio label colon hover. Inside we have the SVG. For that I need to fill hash FF 9E0B, something like that. Then filter drop shadow 0015 pixels, RGBA 255, RGBA 255 comma 158 comma 11 comma 0.9. Then I need to say animation. This is the animation name. It's called shimmer 1 seconds ease, then infinite time alternate. Now this is how it looks. Perfect, right? Then we need to add the fill effects. We need to add the stars fill effect. Whenever I select a star, when I click it, which means it needs to start. So once I clicked it, it needs to add the colors for the entire stars, which is right side of it. So dot radio input colon checked plus label SVG. For that, I'm going to use the same fill effect, fill, and I'm going to use the same filter, and I'm going to say animation pulse animation 0.8 seconds infinite alternate, right? Then dot radio input colon checked label, use the tilde operator, label greater than svg, open it. Along with this, I'm going to copy this one more time and paste it, but this time this is just going to be this alone. Remove this label plus label greater than svg. So basically this keeps the star light up when it's selected. So that's for that particular purpose only we are using. See, I selected this one, that's the reason it's highlighted. Now I'm gonna say fill hash ff90. See, I selected this one, so that particular star it's now highlighted. But in the rating scenario, once I selected the star, whatever the stars which comes right after it, it needs to be highlighted. If I save it, see, all right, perfect. Now it's working perfectly fine. And then now we need to add the animation stuffs for all these things, right? So let's get back over here, and the first animation which is going to be for your pulse animation, copy this, which is going to be add at keyframes. For the pulse we are trying to add the animations 0%, open it, transform scale 1, and at 100% transform scale 1.1. okay, then we need to add the animations for your particles explosion. At keyframes particles explosions 0%, open it, opacity it's going to be 0, then transform which is going to be scale 0.5, then here 50%, for that opacity it's going to be 1, then transform scale 1.2, then 100% opacity it's going to be 0 again, then transform scale 0.5. That's it. Then for the shimmer, now see, when I click it, you can see that it's like it's showing that explosive animation. So add keyframes, shimmer, for that 0%, filter drop, filter drop shadow 0010 pixels, RGBA 255 comma 158 comma 11 comma 0.5, copy, and on 100% paste it. This time change this into 20, and this time change the color into 1. Save it, refresh it, start. Now when I click this, you can see the buttons are a little bit, once I selected, you can see there is a pop-up, right? And we have the pulse effect for the selected input button, right? So which is working perfectly how we wanted it. So this animation scales the pulse and shimmer and explosion animations for that particular keyframes, right? Which is working perfectly as we expected. Initially we made a small mistakes by adjusting the scaling level, and when you're typing the after pseudo elements, please be very careful when you're typing it. Please don't make the same mistake what I did, right? So I'll see you in the next section.